speak to Camille, I'm sure she must get like trepidation. Oh no, what's Claudine coming up with this time? But Camille is one of those people who are on my, she's on my team. And the reason I love her being on my team is because she stretches me. She helps increase my capacity for more in ways that are in alignment with her expertise. I respect and value the contribution that she's bringing to add value to me. And you all need people like that on your team. So I'm also hoping that whilst you're on the line today, you're thinking about, yes, of course, your idea, your plan for 2025, but I also hope that you're thinking, who else is on my team? Who do I need to be bringing in? Do I need a Jackie? Do I need a Camille? So, Camille, over to you.
Thank you so much, Claudine, and happy birthday again. We are all enjoying your decade of distinction and just how generous you are with sharing yourself, your journey, your courage and your push and your stretch. So I won't be long. We'll probably talk quite fast because I am very excited and I have a lot to get through. So I'm just going to jump right in and share my screen. So I am Camelle-ilona, and just a tiny little backdrop of myself, which will give you more context as to how I got into what I do. I started my fashion label, House of Ilona, which I absolutely loved, ran that for 15 years, had an incredible time. Towards the end of that journey, I wrote my first book, Finding Divine Flow, still available on Amazon, and I read it as well, so it's also available on Audible. And so, yeah, had a great time kind of sharing the business lessons that I wish I had kind of heard while I was in my business journey. So that was me. And then we go into lockdown. And so closed sales was completely dropped. No one's, going into churches and getting ordained. And so we had to pivot. So I've got this massive audience of over 100,000 women on our Facebook page and 10,000 on our email list. What do I do with all these people? So we started to meet regularly online, a bit like Navigating Life. Every other week we'd have Ministry Mondays, and out of that came Ordained magazine. Ran that for a few years. Again, had an incredible time running the magazine. A lot of these women didn't think they could write. Now they're starting to write articles, and I'm like, now I'm an internationally published writer in this international magazine. And so it was amazing. Started Divine Flow Academy. And so the journey kind of took me from fashion to words. So in between that Navigating Life journey, somewhere one Saturday, I must have whispered, as you did to Claudine, Claudine, thinking about starting a publishing company. Really? Okay, right, I've got an idea. Let's give this a go. So that's where Divine Flow Publishing came about. And so we started this journey, Claudine and I, and was like, okay, let's put this out. Maybe we'll get about 5 or 10 women who are interested in being part of this Navigating Life series. And yeah, 50 women by the end of it, literally. Not one book, we did 3, which is absolutely incredible. And it was a wonderful journey. Those of you who may be on, so any of your authors, please, put in the chat what it was like for you. But it was amazing. We did book coaching every week. We had writing sessions where it's like, okay, here's time to write. We'd have inspo sessions and coaching sessions where it was like, you got to pull your story out of you. I want to know what the weather was like, what the time of day was like, really getting into the juicy details of their story. And as well, thinking about your audience, thinking about someone who's in the middle of the situation that you are now on the other side of. Take them through it. How did you overcome? How did you navigate those challenges and give them hope at the end? So it was amazing. I was just loving the coaching, and I just found myself throughout lockdown on these Zooms, whatever it was, whether it was the academy, whether it was Navigating Life, and I would just see the top of people's heads because they were writing or they were journaling, and I was just loving this writing process and this coaching. So now, if you do follow me on LinkedIn, Camelle-ilona over there, please let's connect. I've been real busy over there, but I'm passionate about journaling and helping people write and express what it is they do, and taking those journaling sessions, whether it's into churches, into organizations. So if you need it for well-being, shameless plug, do shout out and connect. So I was like, Claudine, this is amazing. You've got 3 books, 3 #1 Amazon bestsellers as well. What about your book? You need to write a book as well, Claudine. Oh, Camille. And, it was up and down and we had our challenges. But again, and we mentioned it in the group earlier, I was a midwife. I would literally felt like a book midwife sometimes, not just coaching, but actually push, come on. You're at the final. In fact, don't push right now. I just need you to pan. We're going to go for the final push in a little while. And it's a real process because you're telling your story, you're pouring out your heart. And initially it's such such a beautiful thing to be able to do, to think about who you can help and inspire. But my gosh, when you get towards the end of that journey, it's hard because you're like, what are people going to think? Oh my gosh, what's so and so going to say? And you have to push through all of that, just like Claudine talked about courage and showing up in this room looking amazing. And there's 100 guests here, and now I have to sing. But it's that courage to just push all the way through to the end. And often that's what I find myself doing as the book Midwife. So just encouraging you all. I know when I was writing my first book, Finding Divine Flow, there were times at the end where it just felt like my mind was being attacked, like every day, then every hour, then every minute. And it was like, what is going on? And I had to stop and write down those challenges and those challenging thoughts. And it was things like, you wanted to write a book, now you've written a book, you don't need to put it out there. No one else needs to read it. And it's like, no, that's a lie. I'm writing this for other people. Other people need this. And then what else? And then I had to write down, okay, who's really going to be interested in my book anyway? No one cares about my story. I speak to people all the time who are fascinated by my story. Yes, people, and I had to fight through. And that's when I penned the quote, which I love to share. Pay attention to the doubts because it's the enemy panicking about the giant leap of faith you're about to take. I'm going to say it one more time for the people in the back. Pay attention to the doubts because it's the enemy panicking about the giant leap of faith you're about to take. And so this is what I mean by that midwifing and pushing people through. So we worked on Claudine's book and that was incredible. Again, an Amazon #1 bestseller. And then recently Claudine's like, Camille, I'm turning 50. I want to do another book. So here we are with the 50 golden lessons. And actually out of Navigating Life, there were Navigating Life authors and listeners who wrote their own books, Pauline, Rona, so many others like Valerie, and I got to see Dr. Grace, she's on here today as well, who were part of Navigating Life and they were part of the audience. And then they were like, okay, I wasn't part of the series, but I've got a book I want to write. And this little one here is to go on a hunt. This was actually one of the author's daughters that wrote this book. So incredible. And then lots of other titles. I mean, so many, I can't even go into them all. And this is only just a few, helping people on different parts of the journey. Some who had a manuscript and then wanted to self-publish, and I kind of walked them through that. Others who were like, I've got an idea, don't know where to start. And we did coaching and accountability every week where I got to kick their butt. I mean, encourage them to keep going and to get their books finished and complete, book launches and all sorts. I know my time is fast running out, but this is just a quick whistle-stop tour of my process. So for me, I really love, as you can probably hear, the writing process and helping people find their story, navigate, really dig into the writing and kind of helping them through. And then praise God for people like Jackie. She does the editing because that is not my ministry. I'm here for the vibes and the energy. What's your story? When you need to get them details right, we send you on to partners like Jackie Raymond, who helps you with them line edits and get into those juicy details. And then we have graphic designers like my sister Reid, amazing graphic designer. I can help as well with the book actual layout to get the chapters and everything laid out beautifully. Then we get into the sample, which is a really juicy place. I often ask you, get someone to film you when that envelope arrives and you tear it open and you hold your book in your hand for the first time with your name on it and your story inside. It's very, very special. And then we get into the launch and actually what's the launch event looking like? Are you doing a launch or not? And what does this look like and beyond in terms of your marketing, your brand and your business? Okay, final slide, Claudine, sorry. Okay, now we've got the book elements. So the book elements, again, this is just, you can grab a screenshot if you want to, but just lots of different elements to think about when you're writing. So what's the title going to be? What's your name on the book going to be? Is it your company? Is it your ministry? Is it you? Subtitle. So once they read the title, subtitle details, cover image, and the book wraps. So not just the cover, but the spine, the back, the blurb, all of that. Testimonials. Can you get the book out to people before it even goes out so that you can fill it with a few testimonials at the beginning? Copyright, ISBN. Who are you dedicating the book to? Who could write your foreword? Again, think about someone in your industry. When I wrote Finding Divine Flow about business, my foreword was written by the business bishop because that connects my faith and it connects business. So think about that. Think about acknowledgements, contents page, manuscript, as Jackie said, and additional things that you might want at the end. And then finally, people are often like, Camille, how do you do all of this stuff? Shameless plug to my Living in the Flow planner. planner, which is just how I used to kind of organize myself and do my quarterly planning. And now I've made that available on Amazon. All of these books, I've been busy, are available. These are all my titles and they're available on Amazon. Camelle-ilona, spelt Camille. And the Living in the Flow planner is, I mean, I use mine every single day. I use mine on, I've got a digital download. I use it on my Remarkable tablet and I absolutely love it. It keeps me accountable. Those savers are there every day. I get to tick off my daily habits each day. Each quarter, I get to plan my quarter as though it's a year. And the one book I really wanted to talk about is Healing Through the Storm. If anyone's interested, I did a journaling session on this. It's available on Amazon. I will put it in the chat. Available on YouTube. I'll put it in the chat. I did it for a church, but this was an accident almost, just for a moment I was having. Just dealing with some stuff going on with my mum who has Alzheimer's and dementia. And I wrote about grief and healing through the storm. And it's a guided journal experience for grief and loss. So anyone that's dealing with grief and loss, especially during holidays, I highly recommend a place where they can sit and write and process. The silent goodbye is when you're dealing with grief for someone who's still alive. So my mum's still here, but not quite how I'd want her to be. And again, it just kind of poured out of me. Mother, Beautiful Warrior, beautiful gift for mums, new mums, especially if they're journaling life and managing it all. Tactical Today, Strategic Tomorrow is about taking strategic steps. I'm doing tactical role today. I want to be in a more strategic role tomorrow, and that's a professional journal. And then the rest are all just kind of filled with journaling prompts. But yeah, I'm a massive advocate of journaling. And if you're afraid of journaling because maybe your journal got picked up one day and read, this little one at the end, The Secret Power of Storytelling, it's actually, there's nothing inside it. It's got a great introduction, but it's actually looks like a book. So if you want to journal somewhere privately and you want to write, but you don't want people to find it, it's a nice little secret place to hide your journaling thoughts. So this is it. And I've got a podcast coming soon called The Journaling Experience. So I hope that wasn't too quick and you heard everything I was saying. I'm very excited. But yes, thank you so much for listening. Do reach out. I'll put my links in the chat. Thank you so much, Claudine, for this opportunity. Bless you.
Whoa, Camille. Thank you. Look, I just feel so honored and so blessed to have such amazing women on my team. And more importantly, helping me birth. I love this coin, the phrase, Camille, the book, The Midwife, right? Because it felt like